Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gulf of Deliria. I hope you're ready for some brilliant presentation and speakers, and we have a great panel from the Mondo 2000 whatever area, cyber whatever area. Right now, we have our first speaker, Rudy Rucker, sci-fi fiction writer, mathematician, founding figure of the cyberpunk movement. Aside from his trippy funny novels, Software, Post-Singular, and A New Juicy Ghost, Rudy is the co-author of Mondo 2000, A User Guide to the New Edge. Rudy also blends space, time, and logic with his playful strangeness. Tonight, he joins us to read from one of his works. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, baby. Can you hear me? All right. I arise again. I'm very happy to speak to you today and share my recent work. I've always thought of my novels as beatnik science fiction. Not that anyone else knows that description. Can you be quiet a little bit? Hey, let me talk. Beatnik is just a word that I like. In reality, I'm more what you'd call a kicky or a crude. Yeah, fuck you too. All right. I live in a hole in the ground and I eat dirt. These are modern times. At 36, I published my first novel, Bad Brain. It was about a brain in a jar that grows tentacles, rides a bicycle to the studio of a talk radio station, and hollows out the head of an anti-beatnik broadcaster. Having preserved the scraps of the radio host's original gray matter in a freezer, the bad brain takes up residence within the vacated skull and entertains the radio audience in offbeat and positive ways. Can you all hear me? All right. At the book's end, the by now peace-loving broadcaster's brain is restored and the bad brain rides his old bicycle into the sunset in search of further ways to improve our world. Bad Brain appeared in paperback, and as an ether wave, I was met with indifference, which mutated into derision and scorn. No matter, I developed a following. I won an award. I was getting over. At night, alone in my burrow, I'd rub my feelers over the emerging good reviews. My quill would stiffen. My ink sac would fill. I wrote more beatnik SF novels. And so the years went by. As I stand before you today, I'm 79 with a stack of beatnik SF novels to my credit. In recent years, my sales have turned weak with ever smaller print runs. The cretinous, slavering fans have become oblivious to my work. The reviewers jeer. They berate me to stop. As a comeback stratagem, I published my autobiography, Beatnik SF Writer. Yeah, baby. Beatnik SF Writer. But my long-term publisher and I thought the autobio might serve as a late-life mainstream breakout book, but it bombed. My long-term publisher dropped me. What next? I wrote another Beatnik SF novel, On the Nod. It's about a Kentucky boy on a galactic road trip with a drug-addicted alien cuttlefish who's searching for his soul, and the cuddled soul is found in the gut of a microscopic cockroach in a You Tweak It gene bar in Oakland, California. I found small publisher for On the Nod for reasons that were, I still maintain, only logistical. The book bombed. The book bombed. The small publisher dropped me. I began writing another beatnik SF novel. What else would I do? I should mention, by the way, that at all times I've had a few loyal and beloved followers, my cognoscenti. I dedicated my new novel to them. The book is called Zip Zap, and it's about an allegedly insane man who befriends a possibly imaginary sea slug from the fourth dimension. The eccentric and the slug discover a way to impose mystical enlightenment upon the unwilling public. Yeah, I wrote my new book slowly, loath to face the market again. Really, it's the process of writing that I enjoy, the narcotic moments of creative bliss, the dissolution of self via the yoga of craft. I was calm and happy in my burrow, limning a new ascent to the one. When I finished Zip Zap, I deemed it another masterpiece. I flew to Manhattan to visit the office of my long-term publisher and propose a fresh start. Waxing elegiac, my former editor called a few of his underlings into his office and presented me with an entire smoked salmon. With tears in his eyes, he advised me to live as a simple hermit and to abandon any hope of publishing again. I sulked in my lair for some months. A coarse joker rolled a stone across the mouth of my tunnel as if I lay in my tomb. One of my cognoscenti alerted me. I oozed forth from the dirt, and dripping acid inscribed a beloved motto of mine upon the stone: Eadem mutata resurgo. Eadem mutata resurgo. Eadem mutata resurgo. This means the same, yet changed, I arise again. I would become a publisher myself, retreating again into my burrow. I twitched and spasmed for days, nourished by dirt and by my entire smoked salmon. I butted out a fresh array of pincers, then delved within my flesh to craft electrogenerative glands. Soon I was prepared to self-publish Zip Zap as an ether wave. My voice piped forth from the earth as a shrill, excited twitter, broadcasting my intentions to the uncaring world. At first I tried selling my ether wave in the manner of a traditional publisher, but then, growing impatient with the pawking, dawdling pace of commerce, I began offering my ether wave for free. But other than my pitiably few cognoscenti, nobody was in fact accessing Zip Zap ether wave, be it commercial or be it free. I was not getting over. I needed a new distribution mode, and here I turned to my old friend Jonsson, a ground-dwelling crude like me, a one-time writer now turned cyber criminal. Jonsson showed me a spammer trick for forcing unwanted ether waves onto strangers' reader pods. So at this point, my plan was to distribute Zip Zap, my novel of mystical enlightenment, in the form of malware. If the cretinous, slavering fans balked at a free Zip Zap, then in the name of all that's holy, I'd force it directly into the wharf and whoop of their reader pods. I'd forgotten or chosen to ignore the fact that my friend Jonsson is a complete incompetent. He was under close surveillance by the Ethernet police. And within hours, they descended upon me. These puritanical and anti-beatnik martinets didn't deign to charge me with a crime. Instead, they deployed an ether wave filter to prevent anyone from viewing any of my novels upon any reading pod ever again. They neglected only to tear out my tongue. Eadem mutata resurgo. The same yet changed, I arise again. Of late, I've taken to giving public readings of my work, like this one. I have, after all, a certain notoriety. People come to be amused. What they don't initially realize is that I've found a way to cast my novels into cryptoplasmic biological forms known as Golgi threads. If you come into the room with me, my ambient Golgi threads writhe into you, and you begin to dream my novels every night, especially Zip Zap. And it goes without saying, you're going to forget that I told you about the Golgi threads. So yeah, I'm still getting over. Thank you for coming here today. Eat it raw. Fuck you too. All right. Keep an eye out. I'll put your pictures up. They'll be on the usual channels.